Welcome. Thank you so very much for joining me. My name is Kassandra and I'm here at Yoga Attic, this beautiful space in Greeley, just outside of Ottawa. Today, I'm going to take you through a hybrid yoga and meditation class. We're going to start with our yoga poses and our yoga flow. So working on strength, flexibility, balance, as well as mindful movement, with the intention of getting any excess energy out so that we can then shift into our meditation practice, making it really grounded. I know for me, it can be really difficult to just drop into meditation if I haven't really moved my body. If I have stiffness or if I'm just too alert and a little bit too energized, it's very difficult to quiet down my thoughts. And you might have the same experience at home. So I always find it very beneficial to do some mindful movement first and then settle into our 15-minute meditation, which we'll do at the end. This is an intermediate yoga practice and no props are required. We'll start sitting. Any way that works for you, we're just gonna try to release any tension from our neck and into our jaw. And you can roll your shoulders down and away from your ears, lengthen through your spine, close your eyes. And keeping your chin the way it is now, parallel to the floor, just let your right ear tip down towards your right shoulder. Notice how you get that first pull through the left side of your neck, and you might intensify this by reaching your left arm out and maybe bringing your right hand to the top of the head to pull the ear further away from your shoulder. So throughout both our yoga practice as well as our meditation, see if you can breathe in and out through your nose at an equal rhythm. And you can tuck your chin down towards your right shoulder and right armpit, stretching more at the back left side of your neck. And when you breathe, try to feel your breath travel all the way down towards your lower belly. And now tilt so that you're pointing your chin up towards like a top left corner, stretching under the left side of your neck. You can even stretch your lower jaw further. And come all the way back through to center. Let's release. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So bring your chin parallel again, starting from this neutral position. And we just let our left ear drop to the left shoulder. Maybe we reach the right fingertips out to the side. Maybe we bring our left hand to the top of the head, moving that shoulder away from the ear. Slow, steady breaths. And you can tilt your chin down so it's pointing towards your left shoulder. Try not to slouch or round in your spine. And now tilt your chin up, pointing towards the top right corner, leaning your head back just a little. And we'll release, come back through to center, shrug your shoulders, let it go. And let's come to a variation of tabletop. We're actually going to come down onto our forearms. So we'll do cat and cow, but with our forearms on the mat. So you can keep your knees under your hips and just come down so that you have your elbows under your shoulders and your palms a little bit more in front of you. Cat and cow, the same way you would normally do it. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, tailbone up. Exhale, round and contract. And just notice the difference that this variation brings through your upper back, between your shoulder blades. When we're up on our palms, it's a lot easier to let our lower back do all of the motion. This kind of forces us to focus on our mid and upper back as well. Inhale and exhale. One more like this. Inhale and round and contract. Come back to this neutral forearm tabletop pose and just walk your hands further out so you can take your puppy Anahata Asana. Big stretch here, and I'm making this a little bit more active by keeping my elbows lifted off the mat, still pressing my shoulders away from my ears and actively pushing my hands into the floor. Just a little bit of weight on my forehead. Big breath in here. And then you can let your elbows make contact with the mat again. Bring them in a little so you have them underneath your shoulders the way they were before. And we're going to shift our weight forward, coming into a forearm plank. And you can either keep your knees on the floor or you can lift them up. And we're trying to reach our tailbone towards our heels, push the weight back into our heels, draw the lower belly in, and at the same time, extend and reach the crown of our head forward. Try to hug your elbows towards one another. Not here for long, just take one more breath. And let your hips come down, Sphinx pose, open through your chest. Roll your shoulders back. And lower all the way down. Let's interlace our hands behind the lower back. Reach your knuckles towards your heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you and keep your knuckles lifted off of your tailbone. As you inhale, peel your heart forward and lift. If you'd like to add on, you can take full Shalambhasana, locust pose by lifting your legs up. Keep the back of your neck long and try to keep your knuckles off of your glutes. You should be able to breathe here. If you count, you've gone too far. Big inhale and exhale to release. Switch the clasp of your hands the other way. We're going to do that same thing, just with the wrapping a little bit different in the hands. Inhale, lift your upper body off the mat. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe also lift your legs up. Focus a little bit more on length. Don't worry about how high you're going. Big breath in here. And let's release. Press back, child's pose, balasana. Big toes together, knees apart. Press your hips towards your heels. Walk your hands out in front of you and melt it down. And we're really focusing on the hip opener aspect of this pose here. So get a big inner thigh stretch. This will make our following flows a little bit easier and more comfortable. So take 3 more breath cycles exactly where you are. And let's meet in our downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You want your hands to be shoulder width distance apart, feet are hip width distance apart as you lift your hips up and back. And think of curling your tailbone up towards the sky, reaching your chest back, lengthening along your arms and along your legs. Lean onto your right leg and we're gonna reach our left leg up first. Bend your left knee and open up your hip. See if you can get this stretch really into your quads, into your thighs by pointing that knee up even higher and squeezing your heel. Take some big knee circles, so drop that left knee down, open it to the side and reach it back up. Take 2 more like this, just getting some motion and mobility into our left hip. And after you've done 3 of those, we'll step forward, Virabhadrasana 2, your warrior 2. So right foot should be parallel to the shorter edge of your mat as you lift on up. Palms facing down. Think of really squeezing that front knee open. At the same time, pushing your right hip back. So there's tension of opposites here. Trying to really externally rotate through our front thigh, or through our front hip, I should say. Let's reverse, right hand down, left arm up, big side body stretch. Come all the way back up. This time we're gonna bend our elbows in front of us, wrap your left arm under your right, binding once or binding twice into your humble warrior. Dive down to the inside of that left leg. Baddha Virabhadrasana. Keep your hips nice and low. We're not here for too long. Take one more breath. Can you push your feet into the floor to strongly lift back up? I know that's hard. Reach your arms back out, and this time let's go ahead and straighten our left leg. Should feel good. Trikonasana, your triangle pose. Send your hips back. Reach that left arm forward and down. Right arm extends up to the sky. Press actively down through both feet. Look down to the mat. We're gonna bend into our front knee. Let your hands come down for support. Pivot so you can lift your back knee off the mat. Drop the right knee to the floor. This is option one. You can just stay in this variation of a low lunge, or you can add your quad stretch. Left hand reaches back to pull your right foot in towards you. You can hold on to whatever is accessible. Think of rolling that left shoulder back while still hugging that left knee in. Creating lots of space here. Carefully release the hold of that foot, and we're gonna step the left knee back to meet the right one. Taking a little camel pose here as we keep our hips over the knees, open up through your heart. Lengthening your tailbone down. And exhale to release. Find your downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, and you're welcome to just hang out here, or you can take your flow if you'd like. Inhaling to plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll be setting ourselves up for the same flow on the second side. So this time your right leg will reach up, bend your right knee, open up your hip. Get that nice thigh stretch first. So really try to get your right knee right in the middle of both hips, squeezing your heel in, and then take 3 big knee circles. So your knee drops down, opens to the right, points up, twice more. Bit of a balancing act. Warrior 2, right foot between the palms, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Think of bending to get that front thigh parallel to the mat as you reach your arms out. Shoulders directly over your hips. Let's reverse. Left hand down, right arm rises. Back through to center. Bend your elbows in front of you. Wrap your right arm under your left. And we'll dive down to the inside of that right thigh, humble warrior, with our Garudasana, eagle arms. Just a different variation of it. Push your feet into the floor. This is what's gonna help you lift all the way back up, nice and strong. Open your arms, straighten your front leg, triangle pose. Lean first with that right hand. Reach your left arm up, roll that left shoulder back, leaning back against an invisible wall behind you. Mindful breathing in and out through your nose. Look down to the floor, start to bend into your front knee and frame your front foot so you can lift and bring that back knee to the floor. Either stay here or move into your quad stretch, reaching back, pulling that heel in. Try to keep your hips nice and low. Carefully let go of that back foot. We're gonna find our camel pose again. So right knee goes behind the left. You're trying to stack your hips directly over your knees. Place your hands to your lower back. Reach your tailbone down. Open through your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Coming all the way back up, downward facing dog. Holding here or taking your flow, inhale and exhale. Inhale, open through your chest, downward facing dog. From here, walk your feet forward to the top of the mat so you can find your ragdoll fold. Maybe holding onto your elbows so you have a little bit more traction. And you can gently sway. Let's release our hands to the floor, bend your knees generously, push into your heels to roll all the way up. Coming to stand in our mountain pose. Your head is the last to come up. Palms shining forward. And you can step to the top of the mat with your feet hip-width distance apart. You can bring your hands to your hips. We're gonna lean on our right leg a little more so we can pull and squeeze to lift that left knee up. Try to keep your hips level. This is why we have our hands where we have them. You're going to straighten that left leg and then bend into your left knee. Send your upper body forward as you reach that left leg back, coming into warrior three. The entire time, I want you to keep your hips stable. So we're gonna inhale all the way back up. Exhale, straighten the leg. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, warrior three. And just keep moving at your own pace. We're gonna do a few more on this side. Really working on your stability, on your balance. Your gaze needs to shift a little bit. But the real challenge is keeping our hips leveled. That's super hard. Take your last one here. And the next time you're in your Virabhadrasana 3, we're gonna hold. And find Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. So let that left foot come down at about a 45-degree angle. Your right foot is still pointing forward. Bend into that front knee. Circle your arms wide and up. Push your palms together. Sink your hips down even lower. Drop your hands to your heart, straighten your front leg, and we're gonna tilt forward, finding your revolved triangle pose. Left hand to the mat, right arm stretches up. Looking to the floor, let's find our pigeon pose from here. So bend into your front knee, and you can bring your right knee towards your right hand. Extending that left leg back, squaring out through your hips and folding down. We'll take a good 5 deep breaths here, getting deeper into our hips. Release any tension from your upper back and your shoulders. And let's come all the way back up, meeting in downward facing dog. Just like before, you can hold and stay as you are, or you can take your flow. Yogi's choice. And we can walk our feet forward to the top of the mat, finding that ragdoll stretch again. Little bend in your knees, holding onto the elbows, letting your upper body drape over your legs. And let's release, push your heels into the floor, come all the way back up through to your mountain pose. And we'll step at the top of the mat, feet hip width distance apart, and once more, bring your hands to your hips, just as a way to make sure that you're not hiking one hip up whenever you extend and go back. So as if they were balancing each other out, you want to keep that counterweight even. Lean on your left leg a little more, pull through your abs and lift your right knee up. Go ahead and extend it straight. Bend it back in and start to tilt and notice what happens here. I know even for me, as soon as I get to editing this video, I'm going to be able to point out all the ways in which my hips were not squared, but we try our best. Straighten, bring it back, and with control, Virabhadrasana 3, try not to dig your toes into the floor. Take one more full round here so that the next time you're in your warrior 3, we're going to hold it there and step it to Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Back foot at about a 45-degree angle. As much as possible, try to lengthen your tailbone down. Circle your arms up, press your hands together. Keep bending generously into that front knee, so it's not wavering side to side. Bring your hands to heart center. Straighten that front leg, start to tilt forward. Maybe you hold here, or maybe you come into your revolved triangle pose. Looking down to the mat, bend into your front knee. We're gonna come into our pigeon pose on the second side. Left knee aligns itself behind your right hand, your left hand. Reach that right leg back. Create some space as you fold gently. 5 slow, steady breaths here. And let's start to rise back up. And this will be our last opportunity for a vinyasa. We're not going to go right away into meditation. We still have a little bit more, but this will be our final downward dog. So either stay here or take this flow. Stretching it all out in your down dog. Let's go ahead and find tabletop, the more traditional variation this time. So with our hands planted to the mat, under our shoulders, knees under your hips. Try to flatten out your lower back so you're not curving and dumping your weight in here. You need to engage your core. And we're gonna reach our right leg up and back. Roll that right hip down. So this is the same principle as what we were doing in those warrior 3 transitions. And then maybe your left arm stretches forward. You're balancing tabletop pose. Try to lift out of your right shoulder so you're not collapsing your weight there. And now let your left hand come down to the mat. Drop your right foot to the floor. So the ball of that foot, keep the right leg straight. Squeeze and tap your left knee to your nose. And release. Tabletop, second side. Realign yourself, find that connection with your core. And then left leg reaches back behind you. Roll that left hip down, flatten out your lower back. Maybe your right arm extends. Stay lifted out of your left shoulder and out of your right hip. Push into your left heel. Right hand comes to the floor. Keep the left leg straight. Just drop the ball of the foot there. Squeeze and tap your knee to your nose. And come back down, Balasana, wide-legged child's pose. Just like what we did at the beginning of class. See if you can get a little bit further into it this time. And we're going to take 3 big exhales out the mouth. So inhaling through the nose and a big release. This is your opportunity to clear out what is still lingering. So inhale. 2 more. Let's walk our hands in. And before we come into Shavasana, we will be taking Shavasana at the end, but let's find our seated meditation. So now that we've really kind of gotten some of our energy cleared out, the excess energy, we get to really refine and build the container through meditation. So sit in a way where you're not rocking forward or leaning back, but you're directly aligning your shoulders over your hips. And you can keep your palms on your thighs. Try to relax your facial muscles. And I'll present you with 2 techniques. The first one we'll begin with is simply internally repeating the mantra So Hum, which can roughly be translated to I am or I am that. It's a wonderful way to connect with our true essence. But on a practical level, a mantra also helps our mind focus on something so that we can minimize other distractions. So as you inhale, internally think of so, and as you exhale, hum. So you're internally repeating that mantra. Inhale so, exhale hum. If you notice your mind wandering at any point, just bring it back to the mantra. Let your inhales be just as long as your exhales. So hum. Relax your facial muscles. Stay sitting up tall. So hum. If you'd like, you can release the mantra. And our second anchoring technique only requires awareness of the breath. So rather than focusing on repeating so hum, we're going to let that go. Focus instead on following your inhale as it flows in through your nose and makes its way down to your low belly. And focus on the feeling of the exhale as it flows back out through your nose. And I want you to also pay attention to the pause that naturally happens at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. Without forcing your breath, tapping into this life force energy. Notice how the inhale might feel slightly cooler and the exhale slightly warmer. Maybe one part of the breath feels a little more natural. Just stay focused on your breathing, or feel free to refer back to our first technique of the mantra. Notice your posture. If anything has changed. Soften your brows, your cheeks, your tongue. If you've gotten caught up in thoughts or in storytelling, just lovingly bring yourself back to focusing on your breath. Focusing on the pauses and the space at the top of the inhale and bottom of the exhale. This is like the space between our thoughts. Now release the awareness and the focus on your breath. And focus now on your physical body. The air and the clothing on your skin. A little bit of gentle movement. And I do want us to take a few minutes in Shavasana. You can lower your way down gently and slowly. Taking up space with your palms facing up. Letting go. Letting go. Begin to breathe. Moving your fingers and your toes. Turning your head side to side. And stretch your arms up overhead, lengthen out. We can roll to one side. Come up to take a seat one last time. And we'll bring our hands together at the heart. Let's close with a chant of Om one time. Breathe in to chant. Thank you so very much for doing this yoga and meditation practice with me. I would love to know what you thought of this class and if you did find it easier to meditate after doing some movement. I know for me, it just really helps me get that clarity and to minimize the amount of distractions. But, you know, everyone is different, and this was a longer meditation for sure. Thank you again. Please subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I will practice with you very soon.